You ever come home after a long day, just dead tired, only to find your key won't even turn in your front door? Yeah, that was me. 14 hours on my feet, and I'm standing in front of my own house staring at a bright red notice slapped across the door like a slap in the face. Said there was some emergency gas leak. Funny, nobody warned me. Not the gas company, not the cops, not even a nosy neighbor. But the kicker, a $750 key replacement fee plus a $500 processing charge. You can't make this stuff up. Now here's what they didn't know. I'm the guy who built the neighborhood's entire security system. Literally. Cameras, hidden microphones, motion detectors. I installed every inch of it. And I didn't just protect myself, I documented everything they did, every illegal move, every whispered threat. I bought the house on Pine Hill Drive 3 years ago after finally landing a big-time security consulting contract. First house I ever owned. My parents never had that chance. For them, it was leases and late notices. For me, it was supposed to be different, and it was, for a while. Manicured lawns, polite neighbors, HOA newsletters that felt more like lifestyle magazines. I even volunteered for the neighborhood watch. But all it took was one tiny disagreement to turn paradise into a war zone. It started with a violation for red flowers. Apparently red petunias weren't spring approved. Got a $50 fine for that. Then it was trash cans being off by 2 inches. Another $100. I laughed at first. Then I stopped laughing. The queen of the HOA barber ran meetings like a general in full dress uniform. Every time I asked for transparency, like where our, $500 community improvement fee was really going, I got that tight little smile of hers and this isn't up for discussion. I didn't back down, and that's when things got weird. Neighbors stopped waving, invitations dried up. Then came the violations, one after another. Lawn too long hose, too visible mailbox, too dull. Rachel from 2 streets over whispered to me in the parking lot, "Don't fight Barbara, she'll ruin you. Happened to the last guy and no one's seen him since." But I wasn't about to roll over, not after I found out what was really going on. Turns out Barbara had ties to a developer, one who'd been buying homes out from under people who got tired of the HOA's games. And guess whose house sat right next to the eastern section of the park, where they wanted to build a new access road? Yep, mine. So I did what I do best. I set traps, fake investment portfolios, fake security blueprints left just visible enough for someone snooping around. I even set up a secondary Wi-Fi network with intentional security holes. And sure enough, Greg, the shady locksmith and Walter Barbara's favorite thug, showed up on my cameras sneaking around at 2 a.m., flashlight in one hand, measuring tape in the other. And then, while I was out of town on business, they made their move. My app pinged motion detected. I watched in real time as they broke into my house. They rifled through my drawers, plugged devices into my computer, whispered about the gold mine they just found my decoy files. What they didn't realize was that everything they touched was being recorded in high definition, uploaded off-site, and time-stamped down to the second. I came home to a new door, new locks, and a smug little note from the HOA about emergency maintenance. Barbara, dressed like she was going to tea with the Queen, handed me the new keys and said, "So glad we could resolve everything safely." I smiled, didn't say a word, but inside I was ready. That night I launched what I called Eagle Eye Protocol, a secure server loaded with every dirty secret I'd collected, set to auto-release if anything happened to me. And I didn't stop there. I bugged the HOA clubhouse, tapped into their server through a vulnerability I'd found months earlier, and what I found, bribes. Meeting notes, email chains talking about me like I was some kind of infection they needed to cut out. And then came the big play. A safety inspection was scheduled same exact time as Barbara's private meeting with the developer. During that inspection, Greg planted a small package in my bedroom closet. Looked like drugs, not subtle at all. Minutes later, Walter rolls up with a cop buddy talking about an anonymous tip. I played dumb, let them in. But before they could finish planting the story, my lawyer Priya showed up, eyes blazing. She asked for a warrant. They didn't have one. She told them to get out, and as they turned, I hit play on the TV. Footage rolled Greg planting the package, Walter coaching the cop clear as day. Walter froze. I leaned against the wall and said, "By the way, the video from Barbara's meeting is already with the DA's office. Might want to tell her." By the end of the week, Barbara, Walter, and Greg were in cuffs. Denise, the HOA secretary, turned on them like a game show contestant flipping sides. She confirmed it all, years of fake violations, fines used to force sales homes sold to Barbara's shell companies, the renovation fund just a cover for kickbacks. At the emergency meeting, someone asked me to explain everything. I didn't give a speech. I played the footage, Barbara sniffing through my fake files, Greg wiping down my office for prints, Walter whispering, "He'll be gone in 30 days. Silence. Now the HOA has a new board. Priya's acting president. The park is safe. The land sale's dead. And me, I've been getting calls from other neighborhoods asking for help. Funny how that works. Barbara once told me, "Not everyone belongs here." I guess she was right. So what do you think? Was it just about greed or was it control? Do HOAs in your area go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Someone else out there might need to hear they're not alone. You ever come home after a long day, just dead tired, only to find your key won't even turn in your front door? Yeah, that was me. 14 hours on my feet, and I'm standing in front of my own house staring at a bright red notice slapped across the door like a slap in the face. Said there was some emergency gas leak. Funny, nobody warned me. Not the gas company, not the cops, not even a nosy neighbor. But the kicker, a $750 key replacement fee plus a $500 processing charge. I bought the house on Pine Hill Drive 3 years ago after finally landing a big-time security consulting contract. First house I ever owned. My parents never had that chance. For them, it was leases and late notices. For me, it was supposed to be different, and it was, for a while. Manicured lawns, polite neighbors, HOA newsletters that felt more like lifestyle magazines. I even volunteered for the neighborhood watch. But all it took was one tiny disagreement to turn paradise into a war zone.